I definitely should have got an extra large one of these. Right, so I really want to get to the bottom of the original faults with this original board. Now I've got my fully working unit. I figure I can use that to help fault find the one that isn't working. Now, I did take some chips off this, took the same 3 chips that I replaced on this to get it working, and I also took off the power management chip on the back. The problem is we still have a short on one of these capacitors on this side here. So that chip isn't at fault. The 3 chips that I've taken off aren't at fault. So something else is still putting a short on this. So what I think I might do is I might try and inject some voltage around where that short is on that capacitor and just see if anything gets warm. I don't know if that's going to work, but failing that, I'm just going to use good old continuity just to check from the shorts, just to see where it comes up on this side of the board, and then try and trace it and follow it round. I've got a sneaking suspicion that it might end up in this rock chip, the CPU, and if it does, it's probably game over. But you know, I figure I'd like to know where the fault is. I want to prove it 100%. So let's get cracking. So let's open this up and let's get the good board out of this. Nice. Right, so the short was coming from this area here. I'll get this under the microscope in a sec. All of these capacitors here were shorting on this side, and they were all connected to this chip. Now I took this chip off thinking that all those shorts would go away, but one of them remained, and it isn't connected really to anything other than here. So it must be coming from the other side of the board, I figure, because I can't see anything else around there that's shorting. So what I want to try and do is just use this good board, because there's no short on this one, on the same capacitors, and just try and trace where that capacitor goes to on this side of the board. So I'm just going to be doing that now. When I find anything, I'll obviously report back. Right, I found something already. So I've got my probe here on the capacitor that's bad on the faulty board. This is the good board, and it comes up there on that capacitor there. So there's a bank of 8 small components here, and it's coming up on this top right one here. So on this bad board, let's check those capacitors there. Hopefully you can see this because I've got the microscope out. Yeah, they're shorting to ground. All of them are. Okay, so all this area here is shorted, and it's very, very close to that rock chip, isn't it? Okay, I don't know whether this is possible to do this. I'm just kind of experimenting here, so again, just bear with me. I've got my bench power supply output in 1 volt, which I know it's not a lot, and I'm hoping that's sufficient. And what I'm going to try and do is just put a little bit of voltage into where this capacitor is, is shorted here, and just see if anything gets warm. So let's just try that. Okay, you can see a spot appearing there on the. It's there, isn't it? Yeah, it's the rock chip. Yes, it's on this side of the rock chip up here. But let's just double check there's nothing on the other side of the board. Because it's possible. Let's just do it on this, where the pad was shorted on this side. So that's there. So there's nothing on this side that's getting warm. Damn. It's got to be that rock chip, hasn't it? It's got to be. Now, does that mean the rock chip's damaged? Or maybe, because it's a BGA chip, this isn't it? I'm not going to have any. I mean, I could take it off, but I wouldn't be able to get it back on. But I do kind of want to prove the fault. So if I take that off, these shorts disappear. That's at fault, right? Well, I think what I'll do, before I do anything drastic with this rock chip, is I'll take off that capacitor. It could be that capacitor that's faulty. I mean, it wasn't warming up, but, I think I'd rather take that off and any other capacitors that are shorting here, just to see if, you know, maybe they're damaged before I go before I go sort of melting this chip and everything around it. Yeah, let's do that. Let's take off this capacitor here first, and let's just see if the pads are still showing. I'm pretty sure they will be, but just to be on the safe side. Right, so let's take this capacitor off first. Okay, let's see if we've still got the short on this one. Yes, we do. Right, I'm 90% sure that it's this rock chip. I think before I go taking it off, though, I will just try and reflow it. I don't think it's going to make a difference. I think the chip is actually faulty itself. But let's just give that a go, just in case. I'm just going to put some aluminium tape over this connector just to try and protect it a bit. Right, let's do this. Okay, you don't know whether you saw it just move a little bit there, so that has reflowed. Is that going to have made any difference? I don't think so. But rather than going whole hog and taking it off, it's definitely worth a try, isn't it? The short's still there. I'm going to take it off while it's still hot. Wow, look at all those balls under there. Whoa. Don't fancy reballing that one much. Right, I'm going to cry if that short's still there. But it's not. Okay, good. So, that makes me feel better. The short has gone, so it's the chip. Right, well, I'm happy that I've proved the fault, but I'd still like to find out exactly where it's shorting on this chip. So I'm just going to stick this back under the microscope now and have a closer look. Okay, so, wow. Yeah, I'm not counting those, but there's a lot. Looks like it came off quite clean. There's a couple of bigger blobs there, but there's nothing shorted together. So let's have a look at these traces and see if we can work out. Right, I found it. So the pad that was shorting, hopefully you can see this, goes to this one here. So if I get the chip in the right orientation on the chip, on that one, and that one. So it's like an inverted L. So it's the fourth and fifth one down, and then the sixth one down on that one. So we've got fourth and fifth. So that, let's just check. Those two aren't connected. Is that a ground? Yes, it is. So that ground on the chip is connected to the one below it, which on the board is not a ground. I'm hoping that makes sense, but I think yeah. So these two here, they're connected to each other inside the chip, and they shouldn't be because this top one is a ground. Right. I'm hoping that makes sense. It makes sense in my head anyway. I'm sure this will come in really useful for parts if I do pick up another RetroN 5, and I will keep an eye out for them because, you know what, I really enjoyed doing this. And, you know, I've got a few parts on here that I can reuse. Obviously, those 3 blown components I've taken off. The power management chip on the other side I think is okay. if that is a common, source of failure on these things, maybe I can switch that out. There's not much I can do with this CPU. It's obviously game over as far as that's concerned. But everything else is possibly, reusable. So let me know in the comments what you think. Whether you agree with me. Have I proved the fault there? I feel like I have, but it'd be great just to get some of your guys' opinions, because you know a lot more than I do. But yeah, that's really it. So thanks very much for watching, and cheery bye byes. Captain Bodge to the rescue!